Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be telling y'all what I would put in my fantasy $1,000 shopping cart at Sephora. So this video idea was started by Emily Noel, and there's been quite a few videos floating around on YouTube about this. But the idea is, if you had, say, a $1,000 gift card at Sephora, what would you use it for? What would you spend your money on? So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm just going to go through my list and just share a little bit about why I decided to pick these certain products. Now, some people have done this and they have gone a little over $1,000 or maybe a little under, but you're supposed to try and get to as close to $1,000 as you can. So I ended up with $996, so I think I did pretty good. However, I did have to make a few changes to get to that number, but I'll explain that when we get there. So before we get into the video today, for those of you who are returning, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you. If you are new here, welcome. I really hope that you'll consider subscribing today. My current YouTube goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I am really close. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe and join my channel to help me reach 1,000. If you do decide to subscribe today, please let me know in the comments so I can be sure to say thank you, because I would be so very grateful if you join my channel today. Okay, y'all, let's get started. So I put on this head wrap today because I think it goes very nicely with my eyeshadow look, so let me know if you concur. But anyway, let's get into my list. So what I'm going to do is I feel like when I film, I feel like I say "but anyway" a lot. I just thought of that. But anyway, okay. Let's get into my list. I'm going to go down in the order that I put this stuff in my cart. So let's start off with skincare. So the first item that I have is the Perricone MD Neuropeptide Smoothing Facial Conformer, which retails for $325 for 1 ounce. So what I did was, for each category that I was looking at products in, I sorted by price from high to low, because I was just curious to see like what the really high price stuff is, because I have this fantasy $1,000 to blow at Sephora. So I just wanted to see like if there was anything that I would normally never buy. I just wanted to see like what some of the high price stuff was. Now, when it comes to skincare, I am a firm believer that there's a lot of natural products that we have at hand that work very well for skincare. I mean, you could go to your local supermarket and you could go like in the produce section and find stuff that you could use for skincare. I also use a lot of stuff from The Ordinary, and that's a very inexpensive brand. But you know, I'm just looking around to see how I can spend this, you know, fantasy $1,000. So this $325 serum, it's a peptide rich treatment that minimizes the appearance of deep lines and wrinkles while enhancing skin's suppleness and elasticity. It helps with loss of firmness and elasticity, fine lines and wrinkles, and dry skin, which I feel like I could use some help in all of those areas. And in the instructions, it says that you should use it daily or 2 to 3 times a week in place of both morning and evening treatments. So the way I'm reading that, this is supposed to be kind of like an all-in-one thing. It's really supposed to replace like all of your individual serums and maybe oils and stuff that you use. If I were to try this, I would cleanse my face like normal. I think I would cleanse, tone, use this as a serum, and then do my moisturizer. I don't think it's supposed to replace your moisturizer. That's how I'm reading that. Now this one only has 27 reviews, so I decided to take a look at the reviews for this, because I'm like, if I'm going to spend $325 for just 1 ounce of this stuff, I really want to investigate to see if this is something that I want to invest in. So there's only 27 reviews, which makes sense because it is so expensive. 16 people gave it 5 stars, 6 people gave it 4 stars, and then there are 5 other people that gave it anywhere from 3 to 1 star. So one of the people that gave it 1 star, they said that they couldn't get past the smell of the product, and also it broke them out really badly. However, if you look at the information in the how to use section, it does say that you should do a patch test of this first to see if your skin will react to it. Someone who gave it 2 stars said that they really didn't see any difference in their skin. There was someone else who gave it 3 stars that said it seems to be preventing things like fine lines lines and wrinkleness from occurring, but it's nothing like spectacular. And then everybody else gave it either 4 or 5 stars. So I feel like I would try this because I have this money that I can only spend at Sephora, and yes, it's $325, but I think I would try it just to see if I like it. But this is something that I will never try with my own money. If I had that $1,000 just to blow at Sephora, I think I would try this because I would just be very curious about it. Okay, next I put in 3 foundations in my shopping cart. So I'm not like a real foundation junkie. I do have a couple of foundations that first time I tried them I was blown away and I love them so much, but I do want my base makeup to look really nice like when I'm doing a full face, but I'm not like a real foundation junkie. I feel like I'm more into things like eyeshadows and highlighters and lipsticks and things like that, but I did put in a few foundations. So the first one is the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Longwear Foundation. I really don't know why I haven't tried this yet. This is one that I've been wanting to try like even before I started YouTube. I've always been eyeing this, and for whatever reason I just never tried it. I don't know. It costs $47. I feel like this is a cult classic in makeup world. On Sephora this has 213,000 likes, so it is really popular. If I were to get this, now one of the things I took into account with the foundations, as some of you know, I often go through having to pass up on complexion products because they don't have an undertone that works for me. For those of you who may be new here, I have a cool undertone, and a lot of times I feel like when it comes to foundation and concealer, the only options in my like complexion range for a line would be warm or neutral, and sometimes they just don't have any cool tones, so I just don't bother with them. So I did take that into consideration when I was trying to pick different foundations that I wanted to try. So for this one I think I would try the shade 465 Suede C, and that's for deep skin with cool pink undertones. And like I said, I don't know why I've never tried this before. I keep passing it up for whatever reason. But yeah, this is one that I've always wanted to try, so I feel like if I had this money to blow at Sephora I would definitely try that one. I also picked the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation in SPF 30. I don't really hear too much about this on YouTube, but I picked this one because it is a Best of Beauty from Allure from last year, and I think that's how I came across this. And again, this one, I think they have a shade that I can make work. Now normally if I feel like I have to like really make something work, if I have to maybe mix 2 shades of a foundation together, normally I wouldn't bother with it. But like I said, I do have some foundations like my Fenty one that I do have to mix 2 shades together, but I'm willing to do that because I love the foundation so much. This one might be one that I would have to mix if I decided to try it. But I would try the shade 410 Sunstone, which is rose. It's a rose tone for tan skin. Yeah, I'm reading that right. A rose tone for tan skin with a rose undertone. So that's basically what I have, but this one looks a little too light for me. And then the next cool undertone that they have, it looks too dark for me. But I think I would try this just because I'm intrigued by this brand. So I don't know if I already said it, but this one costs $47. The last foundation that I picked is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Longwear Foundation. Now I would want to try this off of the strength of the bronzer. So I did do a video, like a first impression video on that bronzer, and I really liked it. That was my very first Charlotte Tilbury product, and I know that the formula for the bronzer is basically the same as the setting powder that Charlotte Tilbury has, and everybody seems to really like that. I don't hear a whole lot about this foundation either, but I think I hear more of the I think I hear more people talk about the setting powder than I do the foundation. But I would try this just because I really like that bronzer. I've been saying that I want to try one of the setting powders, but I feel like if I had to choose between trying the foundation and the setting powder, I would definitely try the foundation. I think I would be the shade 11 Cool in this one, but I feel like I might be able to get away with 12 Cool also. So one thing that really intrigued me about this shade range, I think I have 2 to choose from, which is rare for me. The only other foundation that I know of that I could actually kind of get away with 2 would be both of the Fenty foundations and also the Pat McGrath foundation. I think I could wear 24 or 25 in that one, but it's rare that I can find like options in a foundation range. But I think for this one I would go for 11 Cool, and this foundation costs $44. Okay, so those are all of the foundations. So let's move on to a couple of eyeshadow palettes. Again, I went to the eyeshadow palette section and then I sorted from I sorted by price from high to low. I already knew that the highest price ones were going to be Natasha Denona palettes. I've always said that I would never try a Natasha Denona palette because I just think that they cost way too much. The last time that I did a Sephora haul though, actually no, not this last time because I wasn't thinking about it, but maybe the time before, I was going to buy one of the mini Natasha Denona palettes, but the one that I wanted, it was sold out. It was the one that was like, it was a pinkish, like grayish toned palette. I forget the name of it, but that one was sold out. But I was never interested in trying like the full size palettes because I just think that they're expensive. Like they're even more than the Pat McGrath palettes. But for this project, I did pick the Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette 28. And this one retails for $239. I just cannot fathom paying $239 for an eyeshadow palette like that. Just, I don't know if I could do that. Like I used to say that though about the Pat McGrath palettes, and I did finally buy one, and I see why people spend money on it. So I don't know, $239 though, that's like an extra $100 for an eyeshadow palette. But out of all of the Natasha Denona palettes that I saw, this is the one that caught my eye the most because it's a very cool tone palette. It has a lot of purples and blues, a few like hues of pink in there. This is the one that really has caught my eye. I do have, like every once in a while, I will buy like warm tone palettes. I actually have one on my eye today. Like sometimes I will buy warm tone palettes and I do really like them, but to my heart, I'm like really into cool tone shades. So this one, this color scheme actually looks really good to me. But like I said, I just can't fathom spending $239 like of my own money on eyeshadow. But you know, if I had that $1,000 gift card to Sephora, I think I would try that out. My other eyeshadow palette is a Pat McGrath palette. This is the Divine Rose 1. Now there's a bunch of Pat McGrath palettes that really catch my eye. I do already have the Divine Rose 2. I feel like the Divine Rose 1, it's not all that different from Divine Rose 2, but I do think the Divine Rose 1 is more of like an everyday palette. Like I feel like I could do like very subtle looks with this. I could do like pops of color. I think if I had this one and Divine Rose 2, I feel like I would go for Divine Rose 1 on more of a regular basis. So because I do have another Pat McGrath palette, I would try another one just because I love that palette. Like I love the formula, I love how pigmented it is, and I really just want to have at least like one more in my collection. Now again, we're talking about having like all this money that we can only spend at Sephora. I do have to say, on my eyes today, I have a $3 eyeshadow palette. This is one of the e.l.f. bite-sized palettes. This one is in the shade Cream and Sugar, and I used it today for the first time, and all I can say is this $3 palette, it was reminding me of the Pat McGrath formula when I was putting it on my eyes. This is like really pigmented, really smooth, that bright like goldish color that I have in the middle of my lids. It's like really almost like foily. I didn't have to wet my brush when I applied it. Like everything just blended so smoothly. It was so pigmented, and I was just like blown away at this palette, and it only costs $3. So I do feel like though I would still buy another Pat McGrath palette one day, even if, you know, not just talking about with this fantasy $1,000. I do think eventually one day I'm gonna buy another Pat McGrath palette, but I just felt the need to throw that in there, that these $3 eyeshadows, they're really good. They're really good. But anyway, that's the other palette that I have on my list. And then I also threw in a couple of blushes in my collection. The first one is the Natasha Denona Blush Duo, and this one is in the color 11 Burnt Orange. I do have another one of these that I got from BoxyCharm. I liked the way that it applied. I thought it was really nice and smooth, and it was a nice subtle color. However, this shade here, let me show you guys the one that I have really quickly. So this one is the color number 2. So that's what this one looks like. So I've used this before as a blush. This one doesn't really do anything, but I've used this before as a blush and I do like it. But this other one, the burnt orange one, this is the type of color that's more my speed. So I would just try this just because because that orange is like really calling my name. It looks like a very deep, rich orange shade, and these are the types of blushes that I like. So that's why I put that in my cart. And then the other one looks very similar. Oh, I'm sorry. The Natasha Denona one cost $38. The other one that I put in my cart is from Tower 28 Beauty. I picked this one just because I really want to try something from this brand. They keep like popping up here and there on YouTube. They're relatively new, I think, because I never heard of them before like a couple months ago. And again, this color, it looks really, really pretty. You know what is this? This is not what I thought it was. I'm gonna have to take this out of my cart, I feel like. This is a tinted lip and cheek balm. So this is actually, this is a cream product. I thought they had a powder one too. I'm just noticing. So it was the bronzer that I was thinking about. I thought they had something else that was powder though, but maybe not. I didn't realize that this was cream. I don't want a cream blush. All right, now I'm gonna have to change my total. Darn it. Should I get that anyway? Because I don't know. Maybe I should just stick with it. Okay, I'm gonna stick with it because I remember when Fenty came out with their cream blushes, I was gonna get the shade, I think it's called Fuego. It's like that bright orange one. I ended up not getting it because I just don't like the idea of a cream blush, but maybe I should try it. Like this, you know, would be an opportunity for me to jump out of my comfort zone. And again, you know, this is just money that I'm trying to blow at Sephora. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this in my cart. So again, this one is the shade Golden Hour, which is like a sun-kissed orange, but I put this in my cart thinking that it was a powder blush, but no, it's a tinted lip and cheek balm. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it and keep that one in my cart. So next I have a highlighter. This is the Fenty Beauty Diamond Balm All Over Veil in the shade Cognac Candy. Now I would definitely choose this one as opposed to the liquid one because I do have a mini version of one of the other body lavas. This one is in the shade Who Needs Clothes, and it's like a rose gold shade. This one, it looks really nice on the skin, but I cannot get past the smell. It's like really, really perfumey. And you know how sometimes you put stuff on, if it does have a strong smell, sometimes it'll dissipate after a few minutes. I had this on my skin for like 10 minutes and the smell didn't go away. So that was like the one and only time that I used it. I just couldn't get past the scent of it. So I'm assuming all of the liquid body lavas have that. But when Cognac Candy came out, it was, I really wanted to try it because of the color. So I feel like instead of just getting the liquid one, I would get this one instead. I do have a couple other Fenty highlighters, but I believe the regular highlighters, like I have a couple of the Kilowatt Duos, like this is one of them here. I think that these diamond, what are they called? Diamond Balm All Over Diamond Veils. I think that the formula is a little bit different from these. I think that these diamond balms are like a bit more sparkly and glittery, I think. But the color of this is just really, really pretty. So I would want to try that just to experience the color of it really. So this one costs $39. Then I have one lip product. I have the Pat McGrath Labs. This is one of the Lust lip glosses from the Divine Rose collection. This one is in the shade Divine Rose. This one is a plum rose with a reflective pearl. So this is another product that I've been wanting to try for a long time. Not necessarily this color. I've just wanted to try a Pat McGrath gloss for a long time because I hear so many good things about it. This color looks really pretty, and the way that it's described, a plum rose color, that sounds like it's something that I would really like. And just looking at the swatches online, it looks really pretty. Like these are the types of shades that I really like on my lips. So I would definitely try that one, and this one costs $28. So before I tell you the last product that I have in my cart, I originally did have two Pat McGrath palettes in my cart. So I had the Divine Rose one, which I still have in there, but I also had the Mothership 2 palette. And this is one of the like the purple tone palettes. So I picked this one because it has like a lot of those purple shades in it. And aside from that green and gold shade, actually that gold shade, it's kind of like not necessarily off-putting to me, but it kind of just doesn't go with the rest of the palette in my opinion. But I put this in my cart because, like I said earlier, I do want to experience another Pat McGrath palette. So I figured, you know, I have this money to blow, so let me just buy two Pat McGrath palettes. But that actually put me over the $1,000. So I went back and took this one out. I took the Mothership 2 palette out, and then I decided to go with, I had like an extra $50 after I took the second Pat McGrath palette out of my cart, and then I said let me go back and see what else I can find in skincare. Now because I already spent like $300 on skincare after I put that Perricone serum in my cart, that's when I said okay, for the rest of this I'm going to use makeup. But then I said I have like an extra $50, let me just go back to skincare and just see what I can see. So I decided to go with the Supergoop Unscreen Sunscreen SPF 40. So I recently watched a video from Aisha Haroon on YouTube, and she did a sunscreen video talking about both chemical and mineral sunscreens, and this was one of the ones that she had on her list. This particular one is meant to be a sunscreen primer. Now I'm not like a consistent primer user, but I am a consistent sunscreen user, so I said I would try this because even on days where I'm not wearing makeup, I could just use this as a sunscreen. Now they do have two different sizes, and I decided to get the big one for $44 to bring me like just as close to $1,000 as I could get, but they do have a cheaper one for $34, but I would go ahead and get the $44 one. But this is a visible, weightless, and scentless makeup gripping daily primer with SPF 40. So I would try this one just to have like extra sunscreen on hand, and like I said, even on days where I'm not wearing makeup and using it as a primer, I could get like daily use out of that. So that's why I put that in my cart. So after putting that in my cart, it brought me up to $996, so I'm only $4 off. So I think I did a really good job spending my fantasy $1,000. So let me know what y'all think about the products that I picked. Is there anything on here that you think, you know, maybe I should really invest in it and get it? Let me know. So I really hope that y'all enjoyed this video today. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. If any of you guys out there do this video, please let me know so I can make sure that I watch yours. For those of you who aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing before you head out today, and I really hope to see y'all back here for my next video. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.